way of Will John.
Explain to me this issue with calories. Obviously, calorie counting was a thing, but I saw also a highlight of you explaining what happens to your food and that some things change possibly when cooking or eating raw food and the amount of caloric intake that we have. What's going on there?
So, well, first of all, what is a calorie? Some of you will know, but let's just define it. So, a calorie is a food calorie. Okay, is the amount of heat it takes to raise the temperature of 1 liter of water 1 degree Celsius at sea level. That is the definition of a calorie. So when I say that, then people go, well, then they're all equal, right? Because I've just given you a definition, and that's true if the calorie is inside you as a little poof of energy. Okay, then yes, they are all equal. The problem is obviously we do not eat calories. We eat food. We eat food, and then our body then extracts the calories. So let me give you just a couple of examples. So if you ate 100 calories of just pure sugar, okay, the white powdered stuff, I think you pretty much get all the calories out, maybe 98% of the calories, because it's sugar, sucrose, table sugar is 1 molecule of glucose, 1 molecule of fructose. You cut it in half, we absorb it. That's it. Now, so that's one extreme. Now let's take another extreme. Sweet corn or corn on the cob. Okay. Now, when you have 100 calories of corn on the cob, okay, and then you sort of look in the porcelain the next day, it's clear you haven't absorbed anywhere close to all of the sweet corn because you can see it. But if you take sweet corn, you desiccate it, you dry it, you pound it into a cornmeal, you make cornbread, corn tortilla, whatever you're going to do with it, suddenly you have absorbed far more of the corn. Whereas if you go to the supermarket and look, it says 100 calories of tortilla or 100 calories of sweet corn, whereas it's exactly the same source of food. So that is my point, right? Where we have to actually extract the calories from the food, and how you process, how you cook it, how you actually do different things to the food does matter. That is why it makes a difference whether or not you're eating a donut, you're eating a steak, or you're eating a carrot. It does make a difference. Once you've absorbed and actually pull out the calories, well, then it's a very different scenario because then we use the calories equally. But get our body getting to the calories, it really, really matters what we're eating.
So then, in a sense, there must be, and I've never done a search for this, like the ultra absorbing, other than sugar, are there a few foods that are just super ultra absorbing? My body takes in all of it, and so therefore I can run forever.
So I think it's probably the other way around. So what are the elements of food that that make your body work harder to extract the calories? I think it's probably the better way of doing that. And the two items which make our body work harder are protein content and fiber. Now, fiber, largely we can't absorb. There's obviously digestible fibers, soluble fibers that we can have, but largely comes out the other side. Okay, that's the sweet corn effect. So the amount of fiber in a food, this is the difference between eating an orange versus drinking OJ. Okay, where if you drink OJ, orange juice, there is no fiber, or very little, and so therefore our body absorbs the sugar very, very quickly. Whereas when we eat exactly the same food, which is the orange, sugar levels take a longer time to get released because your body has to work through the fiber. So fiber. Now, protein is interesting. Of the macros, okay, so fat, carbs, and protein, protein takes the longest and is chemically the most complex to take apart, to metabolize. So much so that when we actually eat 100 calories of protein, our body is only ever able to absorb 70 calories, 70. So 30% of protein calories that we eat everywhere, okay, we release as heat. It takes dough to make dough, right? Our body needs to kind of work through the protein, digest it, metabolize it, and do all the things. And so protein calories, for example, just as an example, are 30% wrong everywhere. The back of the pack does not reflect the actual protein content. And so the percentage of protein and percentage of fiber in a food really, really marks out the caloric availability of a food. So in other words, how hard your body has to work in an individual food. So I look at it from that direction.
Shouldn't we have regulation, and shouldn't this sort of knowledge is, I mean, it's priceless. Like if you're really trying to get a good grasp of what it is that you're trying, how come we don't do this? Where's the disconnect? It feels like there's a disconnect here in the food industry in the same way that there's a disconnect between the prevention of disease, and pharmaceutical drugs, let's say. Like,
you know, I completely agree with you. So look, just to point out, right, I didn't make the discovery
sure.
of this. I'm just looking at the information. Okay, this is just people think I'm some, and I have been talking to the food industry. The number of people that don't know this is amazing. It is really, really amazing, and I don't understand why.